Hey, welcome investors to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers. Today I'm going to dig into Tesla a little bit and talk about what I think is a bit of a fork in the road coming up for this stock. Tesla, as we all know, has lived a life of momentum basically for 2 years now. I mean, the momentum on this stock, I've never seen anything like it. The time span that momentum has lasted and the boost that it continues to get day in and day out is absolutely spectacular. And I definitely was one of the doubters over the past couple years. I just didn't think the momentum could keep pushing this stock higher. I was wrong. Luckily for me, in the background, I always have my ARK ETFs. And Tesla's been in the QQQ for about a year, maybe 6-9 months, something like that. Now it's starting to get into the S&P. So from a retirement account standpoint, Tesla's sort of scattered around all of our retirement savings, certainly after it hits the S&P 500. So I will get my piece of the win, but from a single stock buy-in, I never did buy into Tesla. However, this fork in the road that I'm starting to see could be an intriguing time if you're interested in the kind of next wave of Tesla. I think there's some opportunity coming up where we might be able to get a discount. Reminder as always that my stock picks and projections are just my opinion for your entertainment. Please make sure you do your own research on stocks before investing. And of course, if you like stock market analysis and personal finance videos, then be sure to subscribe to the 40 Finance channel. Thank you to everyone for your support so far. Okay, so here we sit on the day before Thanksgiving. We've got a price today of $564. And of course, over the past year, it's been nothing but good news. These are stock split adjusted prices. So basically, on a stock split adjusted basis, you could have gotten in last year for $71 and basically turned that into whatever, 9x, 8x, something like that. So congratulations to everybody on the Tesla front, and there has been a lot of you, and it takes a lot of you to push a stock like this up and up and up and up. But what's going to be interesting here over the next, call it 6 to 12 months from here, is we have profitability for Tesla. And while that is exciting for any of the long-term shareholders, it does bring in a sense of reality where the numbers start to tell the tale, and the concept of to the moon and what it's going to be like in 10 years doesn't matter as much. So you see here on EPS, this is big. This is a trailing 12 months EPS of 52 cents. You're certainly not going to see that on your NEOs and your workhorses and everything else because that simply doesn't exist. And when you have an EPS, you have a P/E ratio. And to no one's surprise, the P/E ratio, well over $1,000. I don't think anyone's really thinking about that when they invest in Tesla. But now you at least have some sort of benchmark if you're a traditional investor like myself and you want to know, like, hey, what is the cost of earnings for my investment here, and does that make sense compared to my other opportunities? So the easy analysis starts to come in play when you can do EPS and P/E ratio sort of models to get to a price that you think is fair and start to assign a target for Tesla. And so I'll talk a little bit about that and give you some ideas in case you are considering Tesla. Now that we have some numbers that I can understand as an investor, EPS and P/E ratio, I would be more apt to purchase a small stash of Tesla for the long term because I do think that they grow from here. But what price would I pay for that? That's what I have to think about more. And what I see today at a 52 cent EPS ratio, we know that we want this number here to come down. So what if it was 100, right? What if it was a P ratio of 100 instead of 1,000? Now you're starting to get into kind of traditional growth stock territory. So that means we would need an EPS of 10x, right? So we would need $5.20 EPS for a trailing 12 months period. So what point would the forward PE come down to 100 at its current price? Let's take a look and see what some of the analysts are thinking. All right, on the Yahoo side of the coin, they give us a handful of metrics to look at. Unfortunately, these are non-GAAP earnings, and with a crazy company like Tesla, it gets a lot harder to sort of finagle the GAAP earnings out of things. However, we can at least get an eyeball approach, right? So looking ahead to next year, you've got 23 analysts on the case. They're saying an average of $3.90. The high estimate is $6.43, and that will be, roughly twice as much as they figure from this year. So just for kicks and eyeball estimates, if we took the high of $6.43 and we know that it's a non-GAAP look at things, you could kind of visualize a $5.20 EPS by the end of 2021 as this matriculates down to a GAAP earnings. Like, I wouldn't say that's totally uncalled for. So if we go back and we think about this price today of $5.64, we think about the PE ratio and we think about the current EPS, 10x may not be that far off. And if we go to Yahoo's sort of traditional approach to forward PE, you can see they've got it at 121. You got a PEG ratio under 1, which is definitely healthy. Price to sales at 17x. That one doesn't feel as good. Certainly the price to book doesn't feel as good either. But there's a little bit of life here for a guy like me at a forward PE of 121. All right, so we have some traditional concrete metrics to kind of go by. And what's interesting, I think, right now, and why I say that this is a fork in the road, is because now you've got an old timer like me who's getting interested in the Tesla stock because it actually has concrete variables to it. And oddly enough, I think the momentum crowd is going to struggle a lot more to do these, rocket to the moon kind of outlooks for Tesla, because the truth is starting to be printed, right on the stock card. So does the momentum players go down? Don't forget, they can jump into Workhorse, NIO, you name the 6 dozen other EV stocks that are out there that have absolutely no metrics that you could even think about. The momentum crowd could take their Tesla money and go play over there, because that's a place where you can just make up numbers and find internet reports and go from there. That would actually be bad for Tesla and take some money out of the Tesla market, which could bring the valuation down. And now all of a sudden, a fellow like myself could get in for a forward PE under 100, which is now a fair proposition. And so perhaps I would do that with the outlook being 7 to 10 years. Okay, so this is on the TipRanks side of things, and we can see that, analysts are coming down a little bit on the stock. Now let's see how fresh these ratings are. And let's just take the batch here that is less than a month old, which is a great start. And out of the ones that are that fresh, we've got 3 holds, 2 buys, and a sell. Median price target in here is actually down. So again, we're starting to see some chinks in the armor, not because Tesla is bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying, though, is the rubber is hitting the road and results are now measurable. And they are not pie in the sky dreams. So this could be the opportunity to look ahead and get Tesla at a discount if momentum dries up and people start to buy the overvaluation story. Okay, so to summarize my point here, I do think Tesla stock is in a little bit of a crossroads right now. Not suggesting it goes to zero, and I'm not suggesting they go bankrupt. But if you are a long-term investor and you have been thinking about Tesla like I have over the past couple years, there could be an opportunity coming up where I think momentum dies down. And just the fact that it's winter, I'm just going to guess that car sales are going to struggle a little bit in January. And then we have an epic rebound, as the vaccine gets distributed. So look for weakness in Tesla sometime over the winter. And if you want to get in long term on this fork in the road as momentum dies down, but concrete numbers build up, you could actually see it in the next 60 to 90 days. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this quick take on the future of Tesla. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did. We'll see you on the next video.